Wow. England did so well, didn't they?
Which sport are we talking about?
The football, the ladies' football.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
really good.
Winning that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Sorted.
What a great tournament to win. Anyway.
I got to be honest, you talking about sport at the start of the show has completely thrown me, because that's usually my thing. Yours is music, mine's sport, and you've sort of, you've confused me totally.
Well, I'm going to. I'll be honest with everybody. It's Friday, by the way, folks, and it's midday, and we are pretending it's the 25th.
Yes.
So I don't know when's the final. By then, will England have won?
Well, hopefully they haven't been knocked out. So
yeah. As it stands at this point in time, we're about to play Sweden. All right,
yes,
that's where we are at the moment. And but you know, I feel quite confident that we will. We kind of got over our initial little blip.
Yes.
You know, and we seem to be sticking the ball in the back of the net a lot, which is great. Let's just talk about that for 2 seconds before we bring our guests in.
Okay.
Why do the women score so many more goals than the men? Is it skill?
There is an often discussed theory that they should make the goals smaller, as the lady goalkeepers are smaller than the male goalkeepers, and therefore there's more space to shoot into. That's one of the common theories.
I'm going to go with the fact that the women are actually better at shooting.
Well, and that as well, to be honest. But
you know, I'll tell you what you do not see from the women, which you get with the men, right? They get into the box, right? They have a kick at it, they kind of miss or it hits somebody or whatever. They with the men, they give up. The women, they use their other foot, they get it in the back of the net.
Now you see, I thought you were going to say spitting, because that's something you don't see when the ladies play. Is spitting, which you do see when the guys play.
You don't see that, and you don't see them like grabbing hold of someone's shorts and giving them a bit of a tug and all of that as well.
No.
Yeah, just think it's, you know, maybe the men can learn something from the women when it comes to football. Maybe there
Definitely.
we go. We've got a guest.
We have.
And that start had absolutely nothing to do with workplace well-being or anything else. But if you've been enjoying the football or the tennis or whatever it is this summer, I hope you enjoyed that little bit of a ramble. This is Jackie Simmons. Hi, Jackie.
Hello, Jackie.
Have you been following the football?
I would like to add this, yes. And I'm very proud of our girls. I think as well, they've got a good leadership, the ladies' football.
Yeah.
I think that has a difference as well. And I think they're out to really prove and do well for them as well, and they are definitely less acting in the diving box.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. There's my bit, and I hate spitting. So, yeah.
You do get a feeling that perhaps they play as a team a bit better.
Yeah. I think they've got each other's backs, and they're not maybe glory hunting as much. Maybe.
And it makes you think as well. I know they want to try and raise the profile and make it more on a level with the guys' football, but it makes you think how much of it is also down to money, because clearly they don't earn as much, but the male game is dominated by money, cash, self-interest. And actually, without that being there, you wonder if you'd see, and this is what it's all about, which is teamwork and team ethic and playing for the manager and all the stuff that goes with it. So I'm wondering, actually, wanting the ladies' game to become like the men's game, actually, you've got to be careful what you wish for.
Yes.
Because this is sort of how it is, and this is what's attracting people. If it becomes like the men's football, people become a little bit cynical about it, don't they?
Yeah.
Yep.
So careful what you wish for.
Well, I was just pleased to see, I think with like things like Soccer Aid and whatever, they've started having like mixed teams and stuff. Yeah, right.
It was brutal, the last one though. One of the girls did get really taken out by one of the footballers. Didn't they? It's like, oops.
He was taking no prisoners with that challenge.
Absolutely. But then she would want to be played fairly. So
yeah.
It was one of those.
She got him later. Yeah. She locked him in the showers. Took his clothes away. Oh, good. Jackie, tell us a little bit about you.
So, as in personal or business?
Both.
Right. So, personally, I am 45 and I'm a mother of 3 crazy children. So, I've got a 14-year-old boy. So, basically, a sense of humor is needed in my house. I've got a 14-year-old son and twin daughters that are 9. So it's only going to get worse, right? It's only going to get worse when it comes to those teenage years. Oh, that's going to be a lot of fun when the girls oh, I dread to think what it's going to be like. And yeah, that's a bit about me personally. But from a business perspective, I worked in the corporate world for like 17 years in the same company, but I moved into different departments. And then it came to like, I don't know whether it is you kind of hit your 40s and you think I've got to find real purpose of what I want to do. And then I got into coaching, and I knew nothing about coaching. And I thought, oh, is it a bit tree huggy? I did think that. Or is it a bit therapy? Did think that as well. And then I absolutely loved it. And I haven't looked back since. So, yeah. And now I'm a coach.
Right. Okay. So we've heard the word mindset a few times on this program before, but tell us about impact.
Impact is once you tweak your mindset, it's then putting it into practice, because I get quite practical, putting it into practice so that you are maximizing the impact you're having. So once you get yourself in the right mindset, be it abundance, be it positive, be it growth mindset, then you're only going to have a greater impact at what you're doing.
Cool.
It's making a difference. It's making a difference, and you're not standing in your own way.
Okay. Who are the kind of people you work with?
So I work with HR professionals, because that's where so my last 9 years in my corporate world was in a HR team. So HR professionals or people managers, because normally the people I work with, it is around that big piece of stepping out of your own way, because they tend to put everybody else first. So they're the kind of people, so like kind of like self-sacrifice, bit people pleasing kind of tendencies, or just people that always put themselves at the bottom of the pile. But a coach could work with anybody. They can't, like anyone. There's a perfect coach out there for everybody.
Cool. It's interesting. Right. It's interesting you talk about people pleasing. Do you feel like there's a bit of a like dichotomy there though? Because like you might get people wanting to please other people within an organization, and that might cause them problems. But then the commercial, what we talk about a lot on here as well, is that the commercial aspect of running a business sometimes sort of supersedes the want to actually be interested in people.
Yeah. And people pleasing is a hard one, because you can be looking after yourself when you get something from helping other people. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. It becomes a problem when it starts to affect the relationship. Because if you're always saying yes to people and they're always taking, the resentment's going to creep in. Then it's not a success. It's going to alter your relationship. So when you say yes to people, it's got to be for the right reasons. And one of the best things you can do if you've got a people, I'm a recovering self-sacrificing people pleaser, but you have to ask yourself, what would please me? And if it's going to be that's actually going to affect your relationship, then you need to have a real think about a better response. Be it, I can't help, just be honest. I can't help you right now, but can I help you find someone that can? Or if I say yes now, what's going to have to drop? Having those kind of open conversations so that it's not going to, affect your well-being. You're not going to put yourself under too much pressure. And you want to set yourself up that you can deliver. Because otherwise, again, you're going to break that trust with the person that you've said yes to as well.
Totally. Right. Okay. I'm going to bring in my poll today.
Oh,
I haven't actually done this for a few weeks, so this is quite interesting. Right. So my poll today was, when you show real vulnerability at work, what tends to happen? Right. And
what were the options?
Okay. Here's the options: genuine support. You are politely ignored. You are secretly judged. Or it depends on who you are.
Depends in the culture that you're working in as well.
Yeah.
I just said D.
Depends who you are. That is the top score at the moment.
Is it?
Right.
Depends who you are. Yeah. Yeah. But 28% are saying you're secretly judged. And if you look through the comments, the amount of people that have had really bad experience of opening up and being vulnerable at work and then actually getting stabbed.
That's horrible, isn't
by
it?
management.
And that's why people don't do it, because they hear these experiences as well. And it's a really, that is a really big thing that companies have to tackle within their culture. And I think it comes from people above showing vulnerability. Because if the top people don't ever show it, then you can't expect your teams to be able to do it, because you've got to learn, you've got to be role models in it. And showing vulnerability, I think, is huge, because it's all about building trust. If you are working in a place that hasn't got trust, then it's not a productive place to be.
Yeah. And do the two things kind of overlap? Because actually, if you're being really vulnerable, you're not just people pleasing.
Yeah. And also there's a fine line of not always being in victim mode.
Yeah.
Like, I think this is the key thing. Like, vulnerability, is it that you show it all the time, or you show it when you're literally about to snap? And then that's really hard, because then you're really going to be also more paranoid and more read into potentially where people may have thought that, you know, they haven't got support, they were being judged. Were they being judged, or was that their perception that they were being judged?
Yeah.
Because you're obviously if you're in a vulnerable place.
I'm not gonna say who this person is.
Oh.
Right?
Okay.
But there was one comment on there that really got me today. And let's just try and unpack this. No one wants to deal with other people's personal issues at work, nor should they have to. The best that should be expected is polite ignoring.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. My comment back was, really, way I see it, when we commit to that partnership we call employment, we need to actually become as interested in that person as they are willing to share. Because how can we help them be the best person they can be if all we see is this two-dimensional work version of themselves? That was my comment back. Their comment back was, I'm interested in the work, no more, no less.
Oh, okay.
Whoa.
Oh, a little bit of tennis there, a little bit of back and forward.
Ace.
What do you think of that, Stephen? What do you think of that?
Oh, tricky one. I think there's certainly boundaries to respect, but I think if you want to get the best out of someone, you need to understand that person, and also how does their personal life impact their work, and vice versa. It can't. That's very much a. I'm gonna have to go and have a look and see who that was now. I'm interested to know as to what industry, I'm quite interested to know what industry they work in, to be quite honest. I wonder if that comes from past experience of showing that vulnerability, or
maybe
sharing
that's how they were
personal
led.
information. Yeah. And
maybe that's how they were led. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think you've got to, if you want to get people to be more productive and engage in the business, you need to understand a little bit more about what goes. There's lines, absolutely. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be everything, but I think sharing something is really important, and understanding what impact that person's personal life could be having on their work and their performance and their productivity, and how they interact with all the other people around them. Is that influenced by something that's maybe going on outside of the workplace?
You've got another edge of the coin as well, is how much you also don't want to encroach on people's private life. You know, some people generally don't want to share stuff. And I'm like, one of the other things I'm a certified DISC practitioner. It's all about the study of human behavior. If you're on the scale of more task orientated and they're high C's, they're called, so conscientious, they're very, very private people. So these are the kind of people that if they did suddenly show a bit of vulnerability and then they got the pushback, or they take that really, really hard. Whereas you've got the high eyes, the influencers, the social people that, you know, the ones that want to get everybody in a team, they'd be quite happy to share stuff. But I think I'd wonder what role that person does for a start, because I could guarantee it probably wouldn't be someone in HR, because what they've said, there's a massive issue with burnout and stress in HR now, ever since COVID times, because people did bring private life into work. That's where the boundary kind of got blurred a lot more. And now HR are taking on a lot of people's private issues, and they haven't necessarily had the training for it. So it'd be really interesting to know what that person did as a role.
You'll go and look now, won't you?
Yeah. Hang on just one second.
Piqued that interest. No, you can't. Name and shame.
I think it's really difficult, because the more I look into it in terms of like different figures for time off with either absenteeism or presenteeism, doesn't matter which end of the spectrum it is, right? The amount of things that concern people who work these days that are preventing them being as productive as possible at work, the majority of them are outside of work. The majority of those issues are not necessarily work-related issues. right?
But it affects how they show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it the other week with care. Care's a massive one, right? The amount of people that are worried in work about how they're going to look after their parents, their children, somebody else, you know, their kids being diagnosed with autism or whatever, and the school aren't coping with it properly. Am I going to have to home school or whatever? Then that has an impact upon how do we work? How do you know? Can the company saying, "Oh, you were okay working at home, but now we don't want it working from home. We want to bring you back in the office." But I've just sorted this out with my child, and I've you know, all of this stuff, all of these things are impacting people's ability to work, right? And they're not necessarily to do with the work. Right. So I think anybody, any leader that is like naive enough to think, actually, all of the personal stuff that this person carries, that's got nothing to do with me. That's incredibly naive.
Yeah.
Incredibly naive, because nobody shows up to work without any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Otherwise, all you're going to do is you're going to employ people who are of a certain age, who are single, who don't have any relationship or any other responsibility things, and they're going to work 95 hours a week for you, sleep in the office, and then you have complete
eventually
control
burn out.
and they're going to burn out anyway, because they're going to wake up one day and go, "Oh, I haven't had a life."
Yeah.
You know, so you've got to be involved with. You've got to be interested in all of these other things, but how you open up those discussions, as you say, it's so down to what the individual's comfortable with.
You've got to build the rapport. You've got to, and understand that everybody's different. I think that's the key thing. Everybody's different. And like you were saying, does that person that you just mentioned there even exist? Because as you say, they've either got family, or they've got elders, or they've got a brother or a sister. A lot of people have a lot of things going on in life that they don't bring into work, and they don't talk about it. But then, you know, it's one of the reasons I went self-employed, because I had 3 children. The cost of childcare was ridiculous. And I didn't want, I made the choice of actually, I'd like to be able to be there for them at this time in their life.
Yep.
You made a point, I think, Jackie, you said earlier about HR departments and being under pressure and all that sort of thing. I mean, how are HR departments generally in businesses larger in terms of numbers than what they were sort of pre-COVID? No. I was going to say, is this what's causing it? Have businesses recognized they need more people, or they just said, no, it's still that team, even though you're dealing with more issues?
I think the problem has been that they've actually reduced the HR departments, where a lot of things like HR autonomy of certain things, they think, oh, that would be a lesser headcount, and they haven't taken into consideration actually the bigger scope. Because you also, HR, they are strategic partners, they are people that are helping the business achieve their role, but they're also now taking on this massive burden, like where you've got managers with that person that commented on the they would probably say, I'll go and see HR. They probably send these things to HR because, one, HR are a confidential sounding board. Of course they are. You know, that's integral to being a good HR, is that you've got that confidential. But I think they've reduced sizes in a lot of companies. But they
are they using technology in there as well? Are they using things like AI and automated systems and sort of FAQ systems and whatever to replace
and self kind of support? But
hello, system. I am struggling today with Jeff, who sits next to me. What do I do?
Oh, here's a performance management tool, and no, exactly. So there's and then these big decisions we made. Oh, because we've got this automation, you're not going to need the person. But HR is human. It's about people, and people are dynamic, and people need different things. And like that open door of HR is so needed, because everyone's going to be different. It's not going to be that you can. I hate those thing like on the doctors and stuff, whenever you try and book an appointment, have you tried this? But no, I need to talk to a person.
And Graham, this is where we segue workplace ergonomics in nicely, is that and I think you were thinking the same thing. This is what you see when you see people when they have to they're asked to self-assess. You're talking about self-assessment there, but self-assessing themselves around what they need for the workplace. You're asking someone who Yeah, well, how do they know? Someone who
Yeah,
isn't
how do they know?
trained is being asked to identify for themselves what the problem is.
Yeah.
And this sort of all sort of rolls into the thing around how do you resolve sort of workplace ergonomics and workplace productivity.
You've got backache. What are you doing wrong? I don't know.
Yeah.
I want you to tell me what I'm doing wrong.
Exactly.
Well, perhaps you're not sitting properly.
Yeah,
What
it's your
what
chair.
is-
Yeah.
What is, it's my chair. But you
it's your
gave
arms
me
at
the chair.
this. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it annoys me when as you say, you mentioned doctors.
Yeah.
Right. but having said that, even one of the last times I went to see the doctor, I actually spoke to the doctor, and the doctor went, "Well, I don't know." He said, I'll Google
Brilliant.
it. I'll Google it.
AI
What
to
did
the
you ask
rescue.
him? What did you ask him first? Was it one of these? Was it something you knew the answer to?
I was getting a sore mouth, and I went in, and they said, "What do you think it is?" I'm like,
Yeah.
I said, "Well, I've Googled this." They Googled it, and they went, "Yeah, it could be that."
Oh my goodness.
I said, "I don't want to see you. I want to see a specialist."
Yeah.
Because you don't know. You don't know what you're talking about. What no, I understand.
And everyone tells you not to Google stuff because you'll make it 10 times worse, don't they, when it comes to things like they're actively encouraging it.
We've got to be really careful with like pushing everything on a system, because it just doesn't.
There's a place for AI. There's a place for it. And we do have to embrace it. Everyone has to embrace it, but not to take over. The AI is only as good as what you're putting in it.
Yeah.
And you've got to check it because it's telling you what it wants what it thinks you want to hear.
Well, whatever system you have in place, it needs to have a point where you can say to it, you can say to it, I'm not happy with this.
Yeah.
And actually something then happens, not just, oh yeah, we've got a list of 50 at the moment that are saying they're not happy with it. Oh well, we'll send them an email.
Have they filled it out correctly? Yeah.
It's really important. I mean, years ago, I'm going back years, and before, proper AI and all of that stuff, and before, the internet was even particularly great.
Encyclopedia time.
No, we had computers. But I helped develop a DSE system at Somerset County Council, and we use that over about 10,000 people each year. We're using it. But what it did, we built it with the health and safety unit, and the idea was you went through a set of criteria, and there was logic in the criteria, and it would take you into different depending upon what you answer, then it would throw up other questions or whatever. But what it would do is it would then like rank people's problems, if you like, and it would then give a list to the unit to go, right, these are the people that have got the biggest issues. You need to go and see them. It had an action point, a physical action point at the end of it.
And a priority. That's good.
And it, it was based around people actually going to go and do something at the end, rather than we'll send them an email, because that just gets my goat when that happens. But so you're helping. Are you helping companies with HR? Or are you helping individuals with?
So I do two things. I do one-to-one coaching with people, and that's where I take them through. I've got a 100-day accelerator where that is one-to-one. So that's where I'm the problem-solving partner to people. And it's all about, I have 3 milestones, which is see it, show it, and own it. And that is, I say, one-to-one. They might bring a specific topic to me, and then we help them get there quicker, because it's always better.
I see it. Oh, yeah. I do now.
Yeah. It's all about raising awareness, but also like understanding, like, you have this negative bias, so you might always jump to the negative and things like that. So that's one way that I work with people. Another way is I also deliver workshops in companies, because I've come from HR, and that will be completely tailored. So if they've got a lot of maybe new people, it might be that they do a DISC workshop where it's all about understanding how other people's work and then looking at the strengths that people bring, or it might be work-life integration. It might be the well-being piece, where we like really dig into, people always think about their stressors and what's affecting their work, their well-being. They never think about their protectors. So it's like it's just broadening people's ideas of how they can support themselves. So I work with, I say, companies delivering workshops as well.
Cool. Okay. The disc thing, that's very similar to the color profiling.
Yes, insights in color. Yeah, exactly.
Insights in color. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love it. It's so simple and it really helps. It gives you a better tolerance of other people, I think, because otherwise you're so like, you can't see sometimes. Oh, you assume people are like you, but then when you actually understand, no, people are just generally different and they're like this because they like this. And then it's really, then because we can't change other people, but we can adapt how we are with other people. And it really improves relationships when you've got a bit of an understanding. I love all of that. Analysis and
I've mentioned it on here before, but I've read several of the Thomas Erickson books, which are actually
brilliant,
more
aren't
around
they?
the color. Yeah, absolutely. But it's just the titles as much as anything else. You know, surrounded by idiots, surrounded by psychopaths.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, it's true. If some people you'll see as like, oh, a complete idiot. Why do they do that? But what he is so good at doing in those books is kind of unpacking it to go, yeah, but they're not an idiot. It's
just different.
Your perception is, and when you start to understand their perception of it, right? Actually, you understand you're a bit of an idiot for not understanding them in the first place.
Yeah.
You know,
stepping into someone else's shoes is such a powerful thing. Literally just stopping, like the pause. Everyone knows the pause is super powerful, but just stopping and seeing it, trying to see it from their perspective, it's really powerful. Can really help with like difficult conversations.
Yeah, very needed these days as well, especially online as well.
Yeah. And keyboard warriors. A lot of people are much comfortable on writing an email or writing a message, aren't they? Rather than then miscommunication happens.
Yeah. That's why I again, I've spoken about this lots of times on lots of different podcasts, but it's why I have a genuine problem with people doing this kind of cancel culture and blocking and everything else, right? When you know, and here's the thing, right? It sometimes though comes from people talking about mindset and talking about mindfulness as well, and they go, well, you can't, it's important that you look after you, so if you're kind of getting that negativity in your kind of area and whatever else, it's best just to block that person and focus on you. And I'm like, nah, actually, though,
face it.
It's good to learn to deal with it.
Yeah.
And it's actually good to learn to try and have discussions with people that, you know, I mean, there is a point, and once a person starts to become aggressively angry and whatever else,
that's
then
a different story.
Then tell them where they get, or send them to the block bin. But this idea that you just sanitize and you just block and, like, you know, don't have anybody in your feed that, it's so prevalent that so many people are kind of preaching this, like, just sanitize your feed, let everybody that's around you just give you that positive energy. It's like,
if you're going to put something out there, if you're prepared to put something out there, you've got it. You're opening yourself up to a discussion. As you say, there is a point, but if you're going to put something out there and in effect is your opinion, you're going to have to expect and respect the fact that people will have different opinions. And actually, it's a good learning point to get that opinion. And as you say, that pause, Jackie, and have a thought about, hey, do you know what? Yeah, I'm still that's still my train of thought. However, I can understand where that other person's coming from. And as you say, Graham, it then just becomes, everything just becomes very vanilla. And then you'll just stop, people will stop engaging because it's just going to be very, very sanitized. You need to have opinions within borders. There's lines that you can't cross, but you've got to have that space to have a different thought process, a different thought, a different angle.
Makes things more interesting. Come at it from a curious mind as well. That's the other thing. Curiosity. If you come at it, because have you spoke about before about the negative bias? Because of our ancestors, we are always looking out for the negative. We're looking out for the people that are going to hunt us. That's inbred within us. But once you're aware that you have that natural negativity bias, if you start questioning it, so actually stop, have the pause, take the pause. And when you're working from an emotional part of your brain, like if you're in an argument or getting into like a big disagreement, you're working from a part of your brain where you start to see tunnel vision. You start to get tunnel vision. You can't see your way out of it. So the best thing you can do to help you with the pause and this is a tip that I learned from Positive Intelligence, is we could do it now. Rub your fingertips together. And you could do it so nobody could see it, but concentrate.
You know a rabbit's going to appear.
But for 5 seconds.
Give us the money.
Yeah, 5 to 10 seconds. But concentrate enough that you could feel the ridges of your fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
You have immediately taken back command of your mind by doing that. And you could do it with no one seeing it. And that switches down, tones down that emotional and puts you back into logical. And it's really, really good way just to get yourself back into the moment, so you're not in that really heightened emotional defensive place. It's like literally, and normally count down. They always tell you to count down in your mind. Mel Robbins does that. Count backwards 5 to 0, just to get you back into logical. Because otherwise, you might, if you're a people pleaser, you might suddenly, if you're in that argument, think, oh, I'll just give in. If you do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you would like, actually, no, I can't, and it stops you just jumping into that emotional. There you go, little tip.
There are people for who it is more difficult. Like
yes,
this
whole
for sure. Area. I mean, if you're looking into the realm of things like
neurodiversity,
and if someone's got ADHD and they've got RSD, so rejection sensitivity disorder, then actually they're going to see a lot of things as very negative. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. Which perhaps the rest of us might not see as negative. So they're going to have a lot of that kind of negative mindset thing to deal with in the first place.
Have to unpack as well. Yeah. And I read a really interesting article, I can't think who it was, but they actually said that I think it was her child didn't have the internal mind chatter. I assumed that everyone has this little voice talking to themselves inside, but their child was like, didn't understand it. She's like, no, I don't have that. And I was like, that's really interesting, because I thought everybody had that kind of internal monologue.
Yeah. Well, you use one of my favorite words, you see, which is assume. Right?
Yeah.
One of the things I talk about a lot is that we should stop assuming.
Yeah. 100%.
Especially when it comes to other people, because if we here's my view on it. I think I wrote about this at the weekend. I think you can go and read about it on my profile. But if we assume that we tend to kind of assume that everybody else thinks the same way as us. Yeah. Right. There's a lot of people that go, no, I don't. I understand that everybody's different. Yeah, but actually you don't. You think that everybody thinks the way you think. Right? Because you don't understand the way everybody else thinks. You try and understand the way everybody else
thinks. You can't understand it, can you? You can't.
You can't understand it. All you can understand is the way that you think, right? And also that's incredibly egotistical.
Yeah.
Right? We come from a place of our own ego, right? And if you're me, you think you're right. That's just the way it is, right?
But you love getting an argument.
Because you'd lose. But the thing is,
in his eyes, anyway.
Yeah, in my eyes,
we'd let him believe that,
and that's all that matters. And that is all that matters.
Okay,
that is all that matters. Right? But no, it's true. We do. We come from a point of our own, and so we make all of these assumptions. I'm constantly having conversations about the fact that, even down to ways of communicating, like people will send me an email and they go, oh, I'm going to send you this like this. And I'm like, but I'll struggle with it that way. What? But that's the way that's the best way to communicate. No, well, it's the best way for you
not
to
for
communicate,
me. Yeah.
but not for me. Right. All of this, but we never used to worry about this stuff, right? And this is why I think management now is so much more complicated than it used to be. Because once upon a time, we did have, go back to our friend earlier, we did have the situation where when you went to work, you did what you were told, right?
Yeah.
Whatever management said, that was it. Right.
And you respected and you just listened because of their title.
It was that way or the highway.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have gone to work and gone, oh. Well, I'd be down the pub at night, you would have gone. And perhaps
you could get sacked really easily.
This is part of the problem, I think, is that we haven't got as many pubs. Right. Right. No. But just hear me out on this, right? Because actually, Jeremy Clarkson was talking about this on his program. If you watched it, watched any of his Clarkson's Farm and then trying to get there. He was saying that actually, once upon a time when there were lots of country pubs and whatever, the farmers would all congregate together and there was a space in the pub where they'd all go, oh, that was awful, wasn't it? What are we going to do about this? And they would solve problems, right? And now, once you start getting rid of public spaces where people congregate to actually just talk about it amongst themselves, it actually does cause a problem, right? And we are creating more of an environment now where people, rather than go for a pint after work and people talk about it and kind of get it off their chest and go, well, you know what, those people at work, they don't really know what they're doing. Yeah. Perhaps
they get a chance to offload.
Yeah, perhaps we'll start a union, whatever. Now people are working so hard and so long and whatever, they go to work, they come home, they put up with what, you know, they have to live the life at home as well. Then they go back to work the next day. There's none of this offloading side of things. Yeah. And I think it is. I think it's problematic, but it's causing a problem for management, massive problem for management, because it is harder because we don't have this kind of like top-down respect thing anymore. And they're meant to all respect everybody that's in the organization and be inclusive of everybody within the organization, but everybody's different, and it means you've got to have almost a million different ways of dealing with people.
And also chuck in multi-generational, you know, people like each generation has different strengths, different ways that have different challenges, have different values and what's important to them. And it puts another, and you need a mix of everybody. You do need a mix of everybody, but it does mean a leader and a manager has to lead and manage in a different way for every person they're leading and managing. It's not one size fits all.
Question for both of you. We have seen a massive increase in self-employed people, right? Do you think that will continue? Do you think we'll actually continue to, as it becomes almost more difficult for people to get what they want employed in an organization, and it becomes almost easier for an organization to outsource to self-employed people because they don't have the management responsibility? They just take what they need out of that resource. Do you think we might see even more of an increase in self-employment and actually a reduction in people employing people?
Jackie has to answer this first, as she is prime example.
Self-employed. I think it seems like an easier option, but there's some crazy stat about, I think it's 80% of people fail and then go back to work after 2 years.
Really?
But that's great news for you, because that's mindset, isn't it?
It's mindset, and it's resilience. And then they also say that most people quit just before they're going to be successful. So you work hard. Then so many people quit just before. I think it's not an easy option. It's that self-employed is not an easy option. But if it's something that you're really driven to do, maybe. It's a really interesting question. I've never thought about it before. I think it depends. Yeah. Because also then you see, I don't know about you, but on LinkedIn, you're seeing a lot of open to work. The actual recruitment market is horrible at the moment. It is really horrible. And then chucking in AI that's doing a lot of the actual recruitment as well. That's even putting more people off. But I don't know is the answer. I really don't know. It'd be interesting to see.
You see, here's my view on it. It's because I've been self-employed more than I've been employed in my life. Right. I've spent most of my life running my own business. I went and tried employment for a bit just for the fun of it, just to see where I get to. Ended up C-suite. Thought, there we go, I've done that. Come back to self-employment. I think you're right. I think it is more difficult, right? But I think everybody, as a litmus test, if they're thinking about going self-employed, should say to themselves, if it fails, what do I do?
What's your backup plan?
What they should ask themselves is, right before they even start, if it fails, what do I do? Right? And I'll tell you, my brain, the way my brain works, and as I say, I've been self-employed most of my life, my brain goes, if tomorrow what I'm doing now fails, I'll find a way of making money. Right? And if you look at, I don't know whether you've ever watched that Rich House, Poor House.
Yeah.
You ever watch Rich House, Poor House? Right. There's been 2 or 3 good examples in Rich House, Poor House of a richer family, right? And they've gone to live in the poor house, and they've gone from having a budget of like £2,000 a week to having like £25 a week to live off.
Okay.
Right. And it's not enough money. As far as they're concerned, it's not enough money.
Yeah,
They
they can't do it.
They can't, their family can't live off that. Do you know what they've done? They've gone, right, let's go and buy some buckets. Let's go and get some sponges. Let's go down the road. And let's go and wash some cars. Right.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a mindset. That's a mindset that goes, there's opportunity everywhere.
Yeah.
There's just opportunity everywhere. Let's just make something happen. Right. And that's why I think I do you agree?
What do you think, Stephen? What was going to be your answer on that one?
I was going to say, I'm completely opposite to you, Graham. I've worked 0 days self-employed. I've been 100% employed for however many years. It's suited me. It's what I like. But I think what I see when I see people doing it, I think it's clearly not easier. But I think that they see a lot more benefit from it. I think the ability to get more out of it from what you can from being employed is probably greater, because you're a little bit more, you're in control, in effect. You're becoming your own boss. So you're right, I see a lot more people doing it, and I can see a lot more people carry on doing it. And businesses potentially outsourcing more things to allow people to pick those roles and opportunities up.
Well, I'm going to very quickly. Sorry, Jack. Very quickly, I'm going to question that you're in control, right? Because the way I've always seen it is, it doesn't matter not having worked both. When I was C-suite or now, here for me is the thing. I am not in control. The thing that's in control are the clients, right?
Yeah.
Your clients are in control, right? When you're a business, your clients are in control, right? They're the ones that either choose to pay you money or don't choose to pay you money. Simple as that. That equation is the same whether you're employed, not employed, right? The only, I suppose, the only thing is, the nice thing, if you're in employment, right, is also the bad thing. If you're in employment, right, the fact that you might as a company, make a complete codseer of it and then lose customers, right?
Then there'll be redundancies.
Yeah. And then you might get made redundant or whatever, isn't entirely down to you.
Yes.
It's down to this team of people that are around you.
That's what I miss about employment, about being in the company, because I miss the security 100%, because what Graham's saying there, because you have got to find the clients, you've got to make sure you've got a client base, and that's quite scary. Some months when it's not there, it's it's permanently on your mind. You also have to be a marketeer, you have to be the finance manager, you have to be all of those roles. But what I loved about working in a team is you could share that. As human beings, we need that human connection. It's really important. And I miss the security of every month, the monthly salary, but also just having those people to soundboard. What you were saying before about having a pub, just having someone that's going through it at the same time. That's really, really lovely. And that's where, like the kitchen chats and things like that, that I miss being self-employed.
But at the same time, you don't have any Muppets that you're working with that are letting you down and letting the side down. So
it swings and roundabouts, isn't it? This is why it's a good open conversation. Like we talked before about getting opinions on whether it's LinkedIn posts or whatever. There are pros and cons. Different people will like different things about it. The security thing to me is a big thing, Jackie, like you said there.
And it could be one of your core values.
Absolutely.
It could be your core, and that's really important. And then if you're struggling in a job or you're struggling in work and you can't quite pinpoint it, it's normally because your core values are being rubbed up. They're being rubbed up by, even if it's like the company's core values, if that will never work. Eventually it will never work.
The way I see it as well is that when you do what I do, is that your clients are your team.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. Right. So you're part of that team. You're just part of lots of teams. Right.
Yeah.
And I think anybody that, anybody that tries to just provide a service without actually feeling any kind of real commitment to being part of the team of the people that they're doing it with. I think they should. Yeah, you know, you might as well go back to work.
Yeah.
Don't you know, go and work for someone else where it doesn't, when you leave at 5 o'clock at night, that's it. You can switch off and go, I don't care about them anymore. Yeah. Because it doesn't work. Well, it doesn't work really like that. There you go. Who is it? How can we help you, Jackie? What can we help you with right now?
You need to help me with my mission. My mission being, I want to get coaching out into the businesses, but real coaching. So I know everyone can call themselves a coach. And I think coaching is a bit misunderstood, especially in the UK. I think it's a lot further ahead in America. Yeah. But I want to help businesses really. I say I'm practical. I'm not the tree huggy. You know, I'm sure people have a different perception of some of the things, but
quite like tree hugging though.
It's apparently really good. But actually, to be fair, this weekend I had a weekend of being outside. I went to Boogie Town Festival, so I had music, which is I absolutely loved it. But just being outside, and I sat under trees. I've had a proper naturey kind of weekend, which has been really good for my soul. But nice. I want people to realize that there are simple things. Getting coaching, I want people to realize it's not for the exec, just the C-suite, and it's not for the people with lots of money. There is a perfect coach out there for everybody. And there are simple things that you can do, like simple exercises that can really open your mind and just flip the switch on your mindset. And it's just simple little tweaks that you can do that can really help you become a better person and have greater impact. I want people to realize that and come to me if you need some support with that. Definitely.
Cool. There you go. Nailed it.
And what we'd like you to do, Jackie, is so we'll help you with that. And then what we'd like you to do is that when you go in and speak to those people, if they're like saying, "Oh, my back hurts," or "My arm hurts," or whatever else hurts, or whatever, then with the kit that Stephen's going to send you, after this, right, you'd be able to perhaps show them and go, perhaps you need to talk to someone about. Here's some samples of things that you might be able to look into that might actually be able to help you with that. Because it's funny, isn't it?
Very good.
The amount of people that sit and suffer in silence, stay on day in, day out, working in the same way, rather than looking into it and go, well, do you know what? Actually, perhaps something might actually help me be more comfortable here.
Yeah.
So
what's the problem? Tackle the problem rather than put up with it. We have become a bit more put up with things, haven't we?
Simple.
Or just ignore it.
There you go. We put the world to right again.
Do that. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And what are you talking about on LinkedIn at the moment? Just to finish.
I am talking about, I've created a tool, right? Because my mission is to get these people to literally just realize their simple thing. Now, it's not the best thing. I've got my Excel geek head on, and I've created this little tool that can help you, work out what's important, because I hear a lot of everyone's so crazy busy, right? Everyone's always super, super busy. But first of all, they're busy with doing what? You need to focus on what's really important and what's going to move the needle. So this tool, it's got 3 slides, and it's work out what's important, then prioritize it using the Eisenhower matrix. Have you ever heard of the Eisenhower matrix? So the urgency, importance. And then the final thing is setting your intention for each day. So there's 3 tabs. So that's what I'm talking about at the moment, because it's something that I've created. It's not perfect. I'm sure it's not perfect, but it's just getting a couple of exercises and tools, coaching tools that I think can really help with people that are crazy busy at the moment.
And 3 is the magic number.
It is free. Yeah. It is free.
De La Soul, Graham? De La Soul?
De La Soul. 3 is the magic number. Yeah.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Bit of music, crowbarred in at the end.
Yeah. Unfortunately, one of their members died. Was it last year, the year before? So that was kind of the end of De La Soul, as it were. I know.
I'll tell you who was brilliant though. Billy Ocean. Billy Ocean on Saturday was so good. Oh, it was so good. Everyone loved it. The going gets right. It was so good. And then UB40 came on afterwards, and they were brilliant. They were brilliant, to be fair, but it made me laugh because they played the crowd at Boogie Town. I'd say it ranged. It was a really good mix. There was a lot more older people than there was younger people, I'd say. And then they literally played all of their old songs. And they went, "Oh, we're just going to play a new one," and everyone just went flat. No, let's go back to Kingston Town. Come on.
Red wine.
Kingston Town. Yeah.
Oh, I was in the reggae mood, and the sun was shining. The sun was going. Oh, it was so good.
I love it.
So
I
good.
love it with you know, sort of legend bands like that. It's like
Oh.
yeah, I know all of their songs. Red Wine, Kingston Town.
Brilliant.
Red Wine,
Only
Kingston
girl
Town.
used to be
Rat in my
so
kitchen.
good.
Rat in the kitchen.
Rat
There's a
in the
rat
kitchen.
in the
Yes,
kitchen. Oh,
they
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
play that one. Actually, they didn't play
No.
that one.
Gutting.
But that's the
Gutting.
other thing as well. We've got to let people know music is super powerful. Super powerful. One of the things I always say, like, we've got a playlist here, and like, it's very eclectic. It's very strange because I let all of my children pick some songs. So you imagine a 9-year-old, a 14-year-old, and then mine. But music, have it in your life because it makes you feel. It can really affect your mood. It can really, really affect your mood. Have a motivational playlist.
Yeah. Unless you've got sensory processing issues and you can't cope with music, in which case get yourself a pair of earmuffs.
Headphones. Yeah.
You know, not headphones, and drown out everybody else.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
But there we go. Thank you, Jackie. Thanks for coming on.
Really enjoyed it. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So much.
You're welcome.
We'll be back in 2 weeks from now with more of the same. But until then, look after yourselves out there, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.